So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of our F1 Manager 23 series. We are on season 3 of course, and thank you so much for the support on the series so far. Now if you didn't watch the last episode in Azerbaijan, go back and watch it. It's got to be said, it wasn't a proud moment for us as a team principal. We didn't get the strategies right. We got a terribly timed red flag, and really it was just a bad weekend, and we didn't convert what we possibly should have done for some very good points, especially for Lando Norris. It was, in fact, Max Verstappen from George Russell on the day. If we have a look at these championship standings, Red Bull on 169 points. We are tied for second with Mercedes here at Andretti Cadillac. Ferrari and Aston Martin, 4th and 5th. Driver standings wise, George Russell leading the way by 7 points. Lando Norris has dropped to P3, and you have to scroll down a little bit to see Pierre Gasly, who's just beating Nick De Vries at this moment in time. Of course, we show you the F2 and the F3. Feel free to pause if the standings there are of interest to you. This weekend, we head to Miami. Now, I actually won my first ever race on F1 Manager 22 at Miami with Pierre Gasly. I would love a repeat of that today. We go around here. Let's just have a quick look. 57 laps round here. Car attributes, top speed and acceleration, low speed cornering, which isn't ideal for us. Expected strategy is a one-stop, but the two-stop can work as well. We're in for a very interesting race here. I want to bounce back after Baku, so I'm going to get through practice, and I will see you in qualifying for the Miami GP. Well, guys, just a quick cut back. We have both got through Q2. Lando Norris comfortably so, but Pierre Gasly's in as well, as is Théo Pourchaire and Nick De Vries in the Haas, but Carlos Sainz is out in Q2. 2 Andretti Cadillacs in Q3. This is it then, final laps in Q3. As you can see, currently we are in P2 and P3. Pierre Gasly actually beating his teammate at this moment in time. It is Lando Norris who's going to cross the line first in this Q2, but George Russell is currently on pole position. Lando Norris is yellow through the first and second sectors. DRS wide open down the back straight. Could we get pole position in Miami? It has been a track that served me well on F1 Manager games in the past. I mean, if we could get pole position, that would be absolutely crazy. But here comes Lando Norris round the final couple of corners. Lando Norris, does he improve by enough? He doesn't. Pierre Gasly, though, improved through the middle sector. Can Pierre Gasly get pole position? He's only 7/100ths off and can't quite get it. As we fast forward towards the end, we will get the full results. Leclerc, Pourchaire, Théo Pourchaire is on pole position for the Miami GP, and my word, this man in this Haas is not failing to amaze us this season. It's P5 and P6 for the Andrettis, but my word, Théo Pourchaire take about a 127.3. Unbelievable. Let's get to the strategies. Right then, guys, strategy time, and we are going to split the strategies. Firstly, Lando Norris, he's going to start on the medium compounded tyre, then go on to the hards. We have got a fresh set of softs should we choose to use them, but we could switch to a two-stop. There is options for us in that. So Lando Norris is on the mediums to start with. Pierre Gasly is on the soft compounded tyre, going onto the mediums, and another set of softs towards the end. Pierre Gasly has got a lot of options in terms of his strategy. We may just tweak it one way or the other, but yeah, it should be a very decent strategy for Pierre Gasly. So that's it, P5 and P6. Let's see what we can do. I fancy a podium here.
57 laps await our competitors here in Miami, so may the best driver win. Mick Schumacher, a composed figure, approaching this one.
While I imagine many are looking at the other end of the grid, I'm keen to see what they can achieve from P19.
And it'll be exciting to see just what will happen here today. Here we go with the Miami Grand Prix. And it's lights out. And away
we go, and straight away we are looking at Théo Pourchaire. He's on the mediums. Russell is on the soft compound tyre. Then comes Leclerc and Verstappen. It's a good mix of tyres, but Théo Pourchaire has got to fight George Russell hard here, and he's managed to keep P1 early doors. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly in P5, but Lando Norris losing a position to Perez off the start, who's in P6. As you can see, it's a good mixture of possible one-stops and two-stops at the front. Pierre Gasly will be looking to make hay while the sun shines. He's got a couple of medium compound tyre runners in front of him, and you would fancy Pierre Gasly to start making some moves early in this race. But as the leaders away, Pourchaire is in front under extreme pressure from the Red Bull of George Russell, who's diving right and left at this moment in time as we go on board with George Russell in to the left-hander, and George Russell is into the lead, and he will be looking to burn away on those soft compound tyres now. Porsche, electric in qualifying, doesn't have the pace, but it will come to him. Verstappen in P3, Leclerc P4, then comes Gasly in P5, Perez P6, Norris in P7, Ocon is keeping Norris company in P8, then comes De Vries and Bottas making up the top 10. Lap 1, George Russell leads. Yeah, Gasly starting to make moves, and it's got to be said, Teo Porsche, the medium tyres are not working on that Haas, and Pierre Gasly has got the move done. It's fantastic work from Pierre as we go into this right-hander. Manages to shove Teo a little bit wider, and the job is done. Pierre Gasly's up into P4. Norris is in P7 at this moment, trying to chase after, but we have had a crash on circuit. Let's have a little look at this one. It is Oscar Piastri in the rather nice McLaren fighting with Daniel Ricciardo. It's the two Aussies coming together. That's not caused the safety car. They've managed to get going once again, but disappointing for Piastri and Ricciardo. Norris is at the moment just keeping an eye on everything in front of him, but I reckon we will manage to get back in the DRS quite shortly. He's trading positions at the moment with Esteban Ocon, but we've got to manage the tyres with Lando on the one stop a little bit more than Pierre Gasly, who is now attacking the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, and he can't quite get him at the moment. Pierre Gasly, though, doing well so far. And Pierre Gasly has got Charles Leclerc. He's loving the overtakes through here. This time, he got the inside line onto that straight. And Pierre Gasly, I believe, got the DRS as well. Fantastic work from Pierre. And he is now up into P3. Pierre Gasly in P3. He's won here on F1 Manager for me before. Is he going to do it again today? Meanwhile, Lando Norris now on the back of Perez and Porsche. This has gone well now for Lando Norris, who can top up his DRS a little bit and start to look after those tyres. Now he's back in the DRS of Perez. And Lando Norris is coming into this race at a rate of knots because he's got past Perez, and now he's got past Teo Porsche, the rookie, in his first season, and rather impressive first season, it must be said. Lando Norris managing to get past him. There's some great action going on here. Lando Norris now up into P5, only 2.7 seconds behind Leclerc, and what he is doing at this moment, he's just topping up his ERS a little bit as well. He's doing everything right. He's Lando Norris at this moment in time. He's making the tyres last. We are pushing when we need to, but this is a real big effort from Lando Norris because this could come to him in the second half of this race. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly running in P3 with Charles Leclerc, who's on those medium compounded tyre, pushing along nicely. It's all looking rather promising. Lap 10, the full rundown is Verstappen, who is in the lead with the fastest lap against his teammate George Russell in P2. Then comes Gasly, Leclerc, Norris, Porsche in P6, Perez P7, Ocon struggling to hang on to the back of this pack. Then comes Alexander Albon in the Aston Martin, followed closely by Nick De Vries and Carlos Sainz in P11. Daniel Ricciardo and Piastri very much at the back. Pierre Gasly, I think, may have used his tyres up a little bit because now Charles Leclerc, who's on those mediums, is going past him. And as you can see, there's another Andretti Cadillac coming not too far behind of Lando Norris. And Lando Norris will be told that he's free to pass his teammate because here we go. Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly. Gasly attacking Charles Leclerc once again. Lando Norris now can just look after his tyres a little bit and top up the ERS because now this is fine. Gasly can fight the Ferrari. That's not a problem. But Gasly's just not got to get in the way of Lando Norris because he's on the two-stop. Lando is on the one. Gasly's going to have much fresher tyres towards the end of this race than probably Lando Norris will. So at the moment, we may just have to play this tactically. But Gasly's around, what, 3 or 4 laps away from his first stop. Lap 16, this battle is still going on, and now Pierre Gasly into turn 1. It's a lovely move on the Ferrari. And to be honest with you, it's a pleasure to watch the Andretti's attacking Ferraris and fighting at the top end of this field. It's been a long time since we've been up here from the start of this series, but we are right up here now in Season 3. But Lando Norris now in P5. He has got Checo Perez behind him, who's caught up, but we should be able to blast away Pierre Gasly. We're just monitoring the situation now, where to get him out. 22 seconds for a pit stop. There is a gap for him. We might choose to use it very shortly. Pierre Gasly coming into the pits, and what Pierre Gasly did do was hold up Checo Perez really badly there by the looks of things. Lando Norris still fighting with one Ferrari, but Pierre Gasly is into the pits, as is one of the Red Bulls, which is George Russell. So I would suggest Verstappen's on the 1 stop, Russell is on the 2. Is it a bad stop? It's not that bad. It's 3.2 seconds. We shall take that. Lando Norris, no, now back behind Leclerc. 1.4 clear of Checo Perez. This works out nicely for Lando Norris, but Pierre Gasly will rejoin. I'm hopeful in front of Mick Schumacher he will, and he's got a nice bit of clean air. Has Pierre Gasly, lap 17, it's hammer time. Pierre Gasly has caught up to that bit of traffic in front of him, and he started to make his way through it. He's now past Yuki Tsunoda. We've had a few other cars pitting, but Pierre Gasly looking banging form today. Up now in 2P12, I believe that is. Yes, it is. He's now got 5 seconds to Zhou Guanyu to use these tyres. Meanwhile, Lando Norris just chilling at the back of Charles Leclerc. We're looking after his tyres. We're looking after the fuel. We're looking after everything at this moment in time with Lando Norris, and he just keeps getting the DRS. We're not mentally pushing behind this Ferrari. I actually think we have got the pace to get past this Ferrari and probably start making hay. But at this moment in time, he's doing what he needs to do. And on lap 19, we are very much in the fight for a podium today, possibly a P2. Pierre Gasly is making some cracking moves today. DRS wide open again. He's going to have to keep overtaking if he wants to be on a podium today. But Pierre Gasly is past the Haas Alfa Romeo of, I believe that was Nick De Vries. Fantastic work from him. He's now up into P8. Just to bring you up to date on that, if we have a look at the leader situation, he's 13 seconds behind his teammate, so he's not doing bad at all. Meanwhile, Lando Norris just been told to use up the last of these tyres because he's done so well as Lando Norris, and as you can see now, he's attacking Perez, and they've actually nearly dropped Charles Leclerc, so this could be big for Lando Norris. We are expecting his pit window in a few more laps, but Lando Norris doing everything right at the moment, as is Pierre Gasly, who now has got past Carlos Sainz. If we have a look at this, DRS wide open, Carlos Sainz no defence at all, and Pierre Gasly into turn 1, getting the move done. We'll come back for a full rundown after all the pit stops, but Lando Norris, he's not far off. He's one and only one for today. Very interesting. Checo Perez is in to the pits. He's left Lando Norris at it with Charles Leclerc. So now this is the time. Lando Norris needs to be absolutely pushing. He will be in this lap. Let's have a look at this pit stop from the Ferrari team. It's slow, it's incredibly slow at this moment, and that is not going to help. Checo Perez will catch Pierre Gasly, overtaking Théo Pourchaire. Pierre Gasly DRS, and in again. Pierre Gasly, my word, he loves it round Miami, certainly on these F1 managers, and he's passed him once again. Superb work from Pierre, and now it's all having a look at Lando Norris, who will be in next lap. And into the pits comes Lando Norris along with Max Verstappen. Who's copying Red Bull strategies? Not us. But yeah, Max Verstappen in from the lead of the race. Come on, guys. We've had a few bad pit stops today. Let's hope that this isn't one of them. And it's not too bad. 2.8 seconds. That should have a massive impact in terms of Checo Perez. Where is Checo Perez? Just coming on to the start-finish straight. Where is Lando Norris? Lando Norris trundling out. Perez fighting with the Audis. He's had a little bit of traffic. Lando Norris hasn't. Out in P8. And by the looks of things, in a nice bit of clean air. That has worked exceptionally well for Lando. And if we can push now on the ERS, we might be able to undercut Leclerc as well. Gasly, meanwhile, now in P3 and pushing along nicely. And on lap 28, Charles Leclerc is in for another Ferrari pit stop. Is it going to be a decent pit stop? It looks a bit better. It still looks a little bit slow, it must be said. Lando Norris, where is he? Just coming on to the start-finish straight. Charles Leclerc trundling out of the pit lane. Who is going to emerge victorious? It's Lando Norris, and Lando Norris by some distance. So what we've only done, we have managed to overcut Checo Perez due to his pit stop issue, and then we've undercut Charles Leclerc, who's come out behind his teammate Lando Norris, looking very good today. Pit stops completed. Lando is in. I would suggest that's net P2. But Pierre Gasly will be fancying a podium as well. He's going to be very strong towards the end of this race. So we'll now have the rundown. It's Russell who's got to pit again. Then Gasly, Verstappen, Ocon in P4, Stroll, De Vries, Norris in P7, Perez in P8, Leclerc P9, then Bottas in P10. Ricciardo and Piastri, the Aussies, are not enjoying their time in Miami at this moment. Joining us back on lap 32, and those Ferraris DRS training each other has worked an absolute charm because they've pulled back up to Lando Norris in the Andretti Cadillac. We're going to be fighting with these Ferraris all the way to the end. The one variable is Ocon and Stroll who are in front of us. If we can get in the DRS of these two, that would be absolutely ideal. And hopefully past one or two of them. We're actually going to burn a little bit of ERS to try and do that. Pierre Gasly still pushing on his tyres. We're actually going to just have to calm that down a little bit now. But Lando Norris really needs to get in the DRS of these two in front. Checo Perez has overtaken Lando Norris. And it's got to be said, Perez looks an exceptionally quick driver today in that Ferrari, managing to get him past Lando, and we actually got stuck behind a Mercedes quite a bit there. But Checo Perez now going away there. We will get the DRS. It will allow us to save some ERS as well, and possibly a little bit of fuel. So I'm not too upset by that at this moment, but Perez is also in the DRS of Lance Stroll, so that's something to be aware of. But Lance Stroll, I would expect, will be pitting very shortly. The next thing we are looking at is Pierre Gasly's pit stop, because at the moment, 22 seconds would drop us down to about P11, but with a fresh set of soft compound tyres, who knows where he could end up. Lap 35. Lap 39, Pierre Gasly's in for his final stop a little bit earlier than initially planned, but I reckon that this may work for him. It gives him a little bit more time on these soft compound tyres. Do we get a decent stop? We certainly do. 2.8 seconds for the Andretti Cadillac team. It's got to be said, on a day where a lot of pit stops have not gone to plan, Pierre Gasly has done particularly well. Zhou Guanyu is the one I'm looking at here, because I'd like to get out in front of Zhou Guanyu. To say that, we've actually got out just behind Alexander Albon, and we've got Carlos Sainz with us as well, who's also on used tyres. So now Pierre Gasly has got to get past these as quickly as he possibly can. No saving on fuel now, sunshine. This is your time to go. Meanwhile, Lando Norris is on the back of Perez, but we are just saving that little bit of fuel, and it's all working rather nicely. We're certainly on for a podium today. The two Red Bulls look like they've got a fight between themselves at this moment in time. Russell's got to pit again. We're definitely on for a podium. And part one of the overtaking by Pierre Gasly has just been done. He's managed to get out in front of Alexander Albon. Managed to get in front of him, onto the start finish straight. He's just got the Mercedes now. I believe that is Carlos Sainz in front of him, and with that DRS and those tyres, I would expect Pierre Gasly to be past him rather quickly. Lap 4. Do you know when I said he'd get past him rather quickly? He just has done. DRS wide open, using a little bit of battery as well, and Pierre Gasly is up into P6 on a set of fresh soft compound tyres. What could Pierre Gasly do today? It's in the hands of the gods, but I think Pierre Gasly's on for a decent result today. Meanwhile, Lando Norris playing this beautifully. We're very happy with how things are going at the moment, it must be said, on the Andretti pit wall, and we're not going to cut away from that, because Lando Norris is now attacking Checo Perez, and this conserving the fuel, actually, is just meaning that basically we're just sticking behind Perez, letting him use his tyres, letting him use his battery, and just holding on. It's all working rather well. Pierre Gasly's got 14 seconds to this little battle in front. Could he bridge it? Of course he could. Right, to say we are getting absolutely shafted by this bike marker would be an understatement, because Daniel Ricciardo is keeping on lapping himself and getting in our way massively. And it's really not helping matters, because Daniel Ricciardo, I believe, is on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. And now we just... It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's fighting with these cars. Yes, unlap yourself, but he hasn't got the pace to do it. It's just bonkers. Pierre Gasly's now back in the green with his fuel, but he's so getting in our way, and it's getting exceptionally frustrating for Lando Norris and exceptionally frustrating for me on the pit wall. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll are closing at a rate of knots. Last lap, they were 2 seconds quicker than Lando Norris. Could Gasly be on for a podium here? George Russell has just pit from P2, and he's now just 2 seconds behind Pierre Gasly. But Stroll and Gasly are going at it here, and Pierre Gasly up into P5. He's got the tyres, he's got the pace. Pierre Gasly looking on for a very, very good result today. Lando Norris giving it absolute beans, trying to get back in the DRS of Charles Leclerc and Checo Perez. He's giving it absolutely everything. I think he may have just done it. But that is a barrier now to George Russell as well, because Pierre Gasly has done that, and he can now see his teammate up the road who's doing everything he can to stick with these two Ferraris. It's going to be a spicy finish here in Miami. 5 laps to go, and you cannot take your eyes off this one, because George Russell now is on an absolute mission He's definitely going to get P2, is George Russell. It's who's going to get P3. And Lando Norris really needs to be the man to make his way forward in this queue. What we'll also see is Pierre Gasly now closing up to the back of George Russell. We've got two dogs in the fight, as have Ferrari, as have Red Bull. But who is going to come out on top here? I mean, Lando Norris has done exceptionally well at this moment to stay in touch with these guys. We are going to go a little bit more aggressive on the tyres now with with Lando Norris. And Pierre Gasly, I'd like him to get involved in this fight as well. He's got the luxury of being able to push on the fuel. It's all happening here in the final few laps in Miami. You cannot take your eyes off it. And Lando Norris looks like he's just about got Checo Perez, but as we cut back to the live action, he got him through that corner. But as we went on to this next straight, you will join the live action back. He looks like he's got him, but this is what's happening at this moment because Lando Norris now is in an absolute drag race with a Ferrari and a Red Bull. He's going to try and go around the outside. Russell's going to the inside. Perez keeps it to the inside. We stay behind Checo Perez, but we hold off a Red Bull. My word, what a fight. And it must be said now, Pierre Gasly is back in this fight as well, and that's allowing him to hold off Lance Stroll. So it's all happening. Can Lando Norris possibly get P3 here? My God, I hope so. George Russell has got past Lando Norris. We beat him in Australia. It looks like Russell is going to beat us in Miami. He's got the tyres. Red Bull got it absolutely just right with George Russell on the soft compound tyre on the two-stop. Not as quick as Max Verstappen on the one-stop, it must be said. But now let's have a look back to the live action because we've got a couple of laps to go. Lando Norris is in this train with George Russell. Pierre Gasly fighting with Lance Stroll. Pierre Gasly is looking good for some decent points today. I'm just wondering if this podium is suddenly starting to creep away from us. But at the moment, we're pushing on the tyres. We've got a little bit of ERS left to use. I need to get past one of these Ferraris, and if I can do that, I fancy that we can get past the other one, and this might be the time to do it down this straight, because here goes Lando Norris. We're going to ride on board with him. When we get to the DRS straight, he might be able, with the ERS, to get past Checo Perez. He's on high aggression overtakes. Will he manage to get past him here? He won't. Running out of time. Right then, this is going to be it, the final lap, but we're just going to watch this overtake on Pierre Gasly. You can see Lando Norris going at it further up the road, but well done to Pierre Gasly. He's passed, I believe that's Lance Stroll, is it? It is Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. He's going to have to defend for his absolute life now, if he possibly can. But Pierre Gasly may get one more crack at it against this Aston Martin. Lando Norris can just not get past this Ferrari of Checo Perez. There's a P4 on the cards today. Will he manage to get it? That is another story. Stroll looks like he's just got past Pierre Gasly again. Pierre Gasly will, like I say, have one more crack at it down the final start-finish straight, down the final back straight, sorry. But Lando Norris now in a P4. He's managed to get past Checo Perez. Let's get the highlights of that because he made the move. Lovely stuff from Lando Norris. Now, if he could possibly push on and get in the DRS of Leclerc, this could be a last lap miracle in Miami. But let's have a look where we stand. We are nearly within 1 second with Lando Norris. We can't push too much on the fuel, but we are now within the DRS. If we switch to the view, we will get a decent last run at this. Maybe, just maybe, Lando Norris might get a podium here on the last lap in Miami. He's done absolutely everything to close the gap. And I'm hoping, I'm praying that he's going to get this chance. And here it goes. We're going to ride on board with Lando Norris. ERS is all but used. We will push on the fuel. We're aggressive on absolutely everything. DRS is wide open. Leclerc goes defensive. Verstappen wins the Grand Prix in Miami. Will Lando Norris try the dive bomb? There isn't an opening. And to be fair to Charles Leclerc, it's been a fantastic race all day long. But what a performance. And what the race. Lando Norris will be upset to only get P4, but I feel we did everything we could, and Pierre Gasly comes home P7 in the end. Oh, my word, what a Grand Prix. It's good points for the team, and let's get to the podium.
What a remarkable drive by Lando Norris today.
There wasn't too much expectation on them today, but they fought hard and found themselves in the points.
Oh, that's a wonderful scene. The team getting their first chance to congratulate their driver on a job well done. And no doubt, Verstappen fans will be celebrating the Dutchman's achievement.
The third win of the season has to leave them and the team feeling confident.
It must certainly leave Max Verstappen feeling confident, and what a race once again. Max Verstappen winning from his teammate George Russell, Leclerc in P3, decent from Lando Norris to get to P4. Felt we could have get a podium, but really, I think the Ferrari just had a little bit more pace, if we're honest. Checo Perez in P5, Lance Stroll 11 positions, definitely driver of the day for Aston Martin. Pierre Gasly finishing in P7, maybe the one stop was the way to go with Pierre, but we had to try something a little bit different. Driver standings wise, George Russell is still on top actually by just a point from his teammate Max Verstappen. Lando Norris is making very good strides in P3 in the best of the rest. Ocon P4, Leclerc P5, and Pierre Gasly picking up 6 points, puts him closer to rookie Théo Pourchaire, who's got wonderful hair, by the way. Constructor standings wise, Red Bull are on 213 points, but we are their closest challenger at the moment. 88 points for us. Ferrari move up a position to P3, and Mercedes drop to P4. I hope you've enjoyed it. My God, we were close to another podium there. We keep scrapping for these podiums this season. I hope you're enjoying it at home. Please do like and subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one. Ta-ra!